Okay, this is gonna be a weird video. I have some excerpts here that I've written out, but for some parts I also just have some keywords, so it's gonna be a weird one, but we'll make it through this together, I'm sure. See guys, this is why you write scripts, because I completely forgot to mention what GDToday even is, for the uninitiated. GDToday is a Twitter account, which is managed by Noise and some other people, I guess. I don't know. And they post, like, Geometry Dash related news and stuff. And, they recently made, like, a top 100 list of the best levels in the game of all time. And that's what this video is about. Okay, now you have the context. Very good, I'm doing my job correctly. Yay! To start with, the levels that are missing from this list. You guys put Reanimation and Idols on this list, but where the fuck is Sunset Sandstorm? You put all the Rob Top Demons on the list, but not Electrodynamics? What is wrong with you? And most importantly of all, where the heck is Removed Submission? This is Whirlwind Erasure. I won't stand for this. Also, Well Rested at number 12. Come on guys, Well Rested could easily have been a contender for the number 1 spot. What are you guys even doing? There are a lot of picks on this list that I find kind of weird and goofy, but let's not dwell on that too much. Most of all, the purpose of this video is going to be reviewing the reviews themselves. I want to have a look at what people actually wrote for these levels, because I assume that most people just kind of skimmed over them. But I thought I should at least honor their efforts and, you know, have a little read. Obviously, I'm not going to go through every single one of them, because there are a lot of them that are kind of similar in a way. I'm just gonna go over a few that stood out to me. Like, you could show this level to an 18th century Victorian child, and they could point to it and say like, oh yeah, that's a Geometry Dash level from the top games on the iTunes store. I think this line is pretty funny. I like this line a lot. Thank you, J-Ghost, for your contribution here. That did make me chuckle a little bit. It's a little weird though, because Fast as Lightning is a level that I think is really unique. It doesn't look like your typical Geometry Dash level, I would say, but it does have this look to it, I guess. I can see where you're coming from, at least. Okay, well, fair enough. Let's keep going. Okay, so Gablor, for her Plasma Pulse finale review, she put an emoji in it, and it shows up as this little box with an X through it, which I think is very funny. Just wanted to point that out. Overall, this review is very central to her experience with PPF, which I wouldn't say is invalid, but I personally have no investment at all, so I can't really relate to this. I don't really care about PPF at all. Good for her, though. Okay, this is something that kind of bothers me about Silent Clubstep. I don't think I need to explain the history of Silent Clubstep at all, but it does irk me that people keep saying that it has recently been verified when the original version has never been completed, as far as I know. The version that was actually verified is actually nerfed in some parts. I think it's the first ship part and the blue orb spam, like halfway through the level. I'm not 100% certain on the details, but I know for a fact that the current version, the verified version, is not the original version. So to say that Silent Clubstep has been verified it's misleading, I think. By the way, that's not to say that it isn't impressive or anything, but the myth people like to conjure up, the cute little story they like to tell about how GD players have overcome levels that we previously thought impossible, it doesn't really hold water when the level was changed, you know? The reality of the situation is a lot less magical than the story we like to tell ourselves. Okay. I'm on the Tartarus review now, and there's a couple of extreme demons that have passed by that have secured a spot on this list because they carry a lot of history in the game. So ICDX, Tartarus, Cataclysm, and Bloodbath, you know, those kinds of levels. And to be quite honest, I kind of stopped caring as much about top demons after Bloodbath was released. I just got kind of jaded, I guess. And ever since, it has become less and less important to me what the top demons are and what their history are. So I can't really relate to any of these reviews at all. And personally, I wouldn't have put them on the list at all to begin with, because I don't really care about their history that much. But that's just me. Something that struck me about this review of Afterlife by Nazgub is that Prism mentions that they really love the message Nazgub was able to portray with the level. But then they don't elaborate on that. And that really irks me on a deep level, you know? What does this, like, what does the message mean to you? What does it say in your opinion? What is your connection to this level? I want to hear more. Tell me more, Prism. I want to hear more about that. Come on, don't just make a throwaway comment and don't elaborate on it. You can't just do that. I want to hear your interpretation, you know? Next. Between Worlds. So this review talks a lot about how beautiful the level is and how well it fits the song, which is all true, but it's in kind of a similar vein to the previous review. I feel like the review undersells the level a lot by not diving into its narrative. Like, when you actually see this level play out, there's a story here, and I think that warrants investigation, right? This level is one of the most memorable for me when someone asks me about the levels that made the most impact on me in my Geometry Dash journey. Uh-oh. Boy, I hope somebody got fired for that blunder. I'm glad there's some Rainbow of the Day representation on this list, at least. Thank you very much. Okay, something that bothers me about this list, more generally, and I'll use Zodiac as an example, is that they use one name to represent, like, the creator. So Zodiac here is credited being created by Rico LP, but that's oversimplifying it a lot, you know? You could have at least done the conventional thing to do, and that's to say Rico LP and more. Because there are a lot of people who worked on this level, you know? And they deserve some credit too, I think. Besides that though, I feel like Zodiac doesn't really fit here. And that's because Zodiac doesn't really stand out to me. It's not a standout level, I feel like. Is it just here because it was another top 1 at some point? I feel like that must be the case then, right? Because when I look at Zodiac, I'm not really blown away by any of it. It's very standard fare, I feel like. Like, when I look at the screenshots they chose for this level, I don't recognize the level. I don't even recognize it. That's not the case for most other levels. Even the levels I don't like, at least I recognize them, you know? And it's not like Zodiac went under the radar. I've seen Zodiac before. I guess it just doesn't stand out. Save as. This is, like, this is a review that you have to nail, right? Because of the theming of this level. Because it's probably one of the most unique levels on this list. And I think Floroni does an alright job here. He correctly points out that the gameplay serves the level's narrative and the feelings it's trying to convey, which is very central to this level, and it's an important aspect of the level to grasp. So I'm glad that's made clear here. Because it's easy to like a level, to see a piece of art and to appreciate it on a surface level, but to explain why you like it is actually really difficult. So I'm not throwing shade here at any of these people, even if I do criticize them. High Life. Something that I think makes this review very valuable is that it doesn't just sing the praises of High Life, it also lays out Kermal's personal philosophy when it comes to creating levels, and it explains his personal emotional investment in the level, which makes it very intimate to read. Like you're invading his brain. I personally wasn't ever that attracted to High Life, but reading this I can really feel a sense of love and genuine passion that stands out among all the other reviews so far. It recontextualized Low Death for me too, and it helped me understand why Kermal was upset at people nagging him to finally verify it, back when that was a controversy. Low Death was a joke level, but I think it's obvious that it was a very personal project. More of an inside joke among friends than anything. The community didn't share this emotional investment. It couldn't possibly. Next, Killbots. Wait, hang on. Wasn't Requiem already on here? You really put the same level on here twice, huh? Well, the review is good at least, though I would have liked to seen it call attention to the link between the theming of the level and its gameplay. If you're unaware, my views on Killbot have changed slightly over the years, so I think its inclusion on the list is understandable. I don't hate Killbot anymore. I actually developed more of an appreciation for how the gameplay serves its theming. I stand by my assessment that the gameplay is very frustrating, but I think it serves the purpose of instilling despair in the player. The despair of dealing with a computer virus. I'm sure you're familiar with it. Computer viruses are fun when they infect the computers at your local high school, but it's a different story when your home computer is infected. I guess that explains the difference between people who actually enjoy this level, unironically, and the people who don't. They must be playing Geometry Dash at school. Okay. I appreciate you putting objectively in quotes, because objectivity doesn't exist in art analysis. Haven't you guys seen my video yet? There's this great video by this very obscure and unknown YouTuber called Whirlwind that you should see that sheds light on this issue. It's just a weird thing to say. I don't think falling up is amateurish at all. I think falling up is awesome. I think a better way to put it is that it's raw, but I don't agree with that either. Uh-oh. It's Reanimation. Ay. Man, My heart sank when I read this entry in the list. Reanimation? Come on, guys. Reanimation is one of the greatest levels in the game for how revolutionary it felt at the time it was released. What are you talking about, dude? Oh, Reanimation isn't revolutionary. Reanimation is derivative. It's Death Moon number 2. Not as good edition. What are you talking about? I don't understand this at all. Oh, why do people love Reanimation so much, dude? I don't get it. I do not get it. Okay, it's probably too much to ask for 100 stellar reviews on this list, but I think in general, people should look to Douglas's review here as another source of inspiration. When you truly love a level and want to sing its praises, you have to go all out to do it justice. Be flamboyant. Be unabashedly passionate, at risk of sounding pretentious. Reviews are an art form unto itself. And if the purpose of your review is to glaze up a level you really love, then you shouldn't be ashamed to lean into that with all the dazzling eloquence you can manage. Noble Boy, Bloodlust. What? Noble Boy didn't make this level. He verified it. That's two different things. Also, I find it kind of funny that Noble Boy is the one reviewing it here. But I do appreciate that he doesn't dive into the history of this level or anything. He just talks about the level and what he likes about it. I appreciate that. I'm sure most people wouldn't do that, but I think the verifier's perspective on this one is actually more interesting, I guess. Artificial Ascent. People were mind blown specially, huh? Boy, I hope somebody got fired for that blunder. Alright, Black Blizzard. I want to draw attention to this review as well, because I think it really underscores what I think you should aim for if you're really trying to convey your love for a level. Sears deconstructs Black Blizzard in such an eloquent and relatable manner that it will expand your appreciation for the level even more. He's clearly thought about this level a lot, examined it as a work of art. It's clearly evident from what he has to say about it. Black Blizzard gives substance to the formless, abstracted nature of Geometry Dash, and he's totally right to point this out. He points this out. He's thought about this level and how to advocate for it, because he clearly admires it. And I think that's awesome. I love seeing that. I love seeing people be passionate. I love seeing people deconstruct their favorite levels and say something profound about them. Something that gets you thinking, something that makes you see it in a new light. New perspectives, new ideas. There's something deeply human about that process, I feel. It's what art is about. Oh no, white space. Uh-oh. Well, I'm sure you already know my opinions about white space, so I can't really say I agree with this review. Wait, Jazer? Ah, well, that figures. I've never been able to take Jazer seriously after you said yellow is a categorically bad color. Alright, obviously we were going to have to talk about the number 1 pick on this list. It's Death Moon. Before that, I find it kind of funny that the top 10 has 4 1.9 levels in it. All of them arguably hell levels. Personally, I wouldn't have placed Cataclysm and Bloodbath that high, but I'm not mad about it, I guess. This is okay. Death Moon at 1, though. I've seen a few people deride this choice for the top spot, but I think it fits. I think people are way too quick to discredit it. I think Death Moon is fucking awesome. That's why I'm a little disappointed by the review they chose to put here. Death Moon may not be my favorite. Damn, dude, that feels so bad to hear about the level in the top spot. Where's the passion? Where's the excitement? This is voted as the greatest level of all time. I have this problem with a lot of reviews on this list, but reading this just feels kind of clinical. It doesn't elicit anything in me like Kermal, Douglas, and Sirius's reviews did. It boils down to the decoration and gameplay are nice. Come on, man. Don't do my buddy, my pal Death Moon dirty like that. Here, I'll write something better. Geometry Dash is a high-stakes game, and emotional investment runs deep. Frustration, jubilation, grief, and accomplishment. Harnessing that aspect of the game and using it to elicit powerful emotional responses is an art form in its own right, and it's an art form mastered by Death Moon. When you're playing Death Moon, you can feel it. You can feel its imposing grandeur as it masterfully builds suspense until it drops an epic climax on you. It does this without relying on difficulty, too. It's just the very nature of the level to be grand, to be this intricately constructed masterpiece with art so iconic that multiple levels since have tried to recreate it, to no avail. Epic is a word with a lot of baggage nowadays, but in the most baseline sense of that word, I can't think of a better way to describe Death Moon. It manages that cycle of build-up, tension and release so brilliantly. Even the ending serves this purpose. A rewarding victory lap where almost all tension is released and you're allowed to free fly in celebration. Anyway, something like that. I would have liked to see something like that. We're not grading tests here after all, we're writing a review. So in conclusion, to quickly reiterate, my favorite reviews in this whole list are definitely Kermal's of High Life, Douglas's of Revolution, and Sirius's of Black Blizzard, in no particular order. If you haven't read the whole thread, I recommend you read those three at the least. Special shoutouts to my Grandpa Demons, Xkami, Belfry Clock, and Alferia. Thank you very much for supporting me on Patreon. You are awesome. Additionally, only a little more than a month left for my creator contest, and I'm seeing level submissions slowly trickle in, so this is looking pretty exciting, I think. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.